guys, and welcome to this second piano session. Today we are gonna talk about the perfect sitting position, hand placement, wrist placement. I know for some of you that might sound boring, but I just want to make sure that you've covered all the basics and then you're good to go and you're perfectly prepared to start. Yes, so let's start. Let's start with the sitting position. Please make sure that you always sit in the middle of the piano. So don't do something like this with your chair, even if you're practicing, for example, with your right hand here. Don't do it. Just stay in the middle, hoppala, or something like this. No, just stay here in the middle. Also with your butt here, don't scooch around like this. Just stay here and you can move like this, okay? And with your chair, you can regulate the height. You should also, depending how tall you are. It should be that high that you have approximately a 90-degree angle here. And you should always give your elbows enough space. That's also super important. So just check if you have here one line, nothing like this or like this, and then you're good to go. Yes, about the sitting position on the chair, just make sure that you don't sit too much on the edge like this or too much back. Just halfway point is perfect. Yes, you can also lean a little bit forward and your butt a little bit back like this. And yes, also don't forget your feet. Super important. Please don't do something like this, or something like this even. No. Super important that both feet are on the floor all the time to have a good connection with the floor. Yes, if you're too small, for example, I do this with my little students who cannot reach the floor. I use some books and put them underneath so they stand on the book stand and they have also somehow a connection with the floor. Yes, so then let's talk about the hand placement. But for that I take you a little bit closer. Okay, now you should be able to see my hand. With the hand placement, it's super important, as I already told you, that you have here this line. So try not to break it. Something like this or like this is always bad. Just remember having this straight line here and also this round curve here, this shape. When I was little, they always told me, play like a cat and not like a spider. This was the spider and this was the cat. You can also imagine that there's space for a tennis ball, for example. Yes. And now we are trying to do our first exercise to practice this shape where you can try to hold it and get used to your fingers. Let's try this. Okay, so we are doing the C scale. That one is super easy for beginners because we're only using the right keys, and every pianist should be able to play this. So we start with the C here, with the thumb, because it's called C scale. We start with the C, pretty easy. We start with the thumb, go with the second finger, the third, and after the third, we tuck. Then we start again with the thumb, the second, the third, and now after the fourth, we tuck again. And now we just do what we just did. Again, after the third, we tuck. And then we are here. And you see, that's kind of a rule of thumb, I call this, because you can use this trick for a lot of scales. Not every scale, but a lot of scales. Just remember, after the third, you tuck your thumb, and then after the fourth, you tuck your thumb, and then again after the third. Yes, so this is basically the same principle all the time. When you go down now, this is also not very complicated. Just go until you reach your thumb, then you go over with your third until your thumb, and now you go over with your fourth, and then with your third again. So you see, it's all about the third and the fourth finger. Once you get that, it's super easy to play them. So, and when you do this, you can try to hold your shape. Don't start playing like this or like this. Try to hold this round shape I showed you before. And also try to be very soft and flexible. Don't do something like this. You see, that gets super hard. And play it very slow at the beginning. It's important to remain one tempo all the time, so don't do something like this. Okay? One steady tempo. And once you make it, without any mistakes, then you can go a little bit faster. Yes. Okay, now for the left hand, it's also not very complicated. Also the same principle. It's all about the third and the fourth finger. So we go. We start with the fifth on the C. Go until your thumb, and then we go over with our third finger. And then with our fourth. And so on. You can keep going, third, fourth, and so on. But remember always, start going over with the third. That's super important. And then the fourth. Now when you want to go down, we start with the thumb on the C. And now this is the most crucial part. Most students forget this part. After the third finger, you tuck your thumb. And then after the fourth. And then you can of course continue. After the third again. And then you're here. Yes, that's the left hand. And of course also remember just trying to hold this shape while you are practicing. And if your hands get a little bit stiff or whatever, you can do a little bit like this to make them flexible, soften them a little bit, shake it out, and then you can go again. Yes. So now you're able to play your first game, your C scale. Let me know how it went. And super important, if you are able to do the right hand and the left hand separately, you can try both hands together. When you do that, remember to start slow. Even if you are already very good with your right hand, you feel very confident and safe, and also with your left hand, just start slow when you're doing it together, because you need time while playing. So just start with very slow tempo like this, or even slower maybe. So you can really think while you play. That's super important. Yes, that's it for this session. Next session we are gonna talk about notes, how you can read sheet music, and so on. Super excited. See you in the next video.